friends, some EC7s for the E92 M3. What do you think? These are obviously in the silver finish against my Jerez black E92 M3, and I think the contrast, the styling, everything about these wheels look perfect on this car. Now, I have been sleeping a bit on this design. I've actually never ran the EC7s on any of my cars. I had a hot streak with the ARC 8s and ran those on a few different platforms, but I think that these look really, really good and fit this build perfectly. At this point, I think it's safe to say that this car doesn't look overly modified. I'd say that the EC7s are sort of comparable to the M359s with a bit more aggression added to them, obviously more concavity, but also the OEM 359 wheels, the competition wheels, are 19-inch wheels. These are 18s, which I just prefer to run on all of the E-chassis cars. I think the 18s suit these cars better, in my opinion. And another great thing about these wheels is that I can run these on both the 1M clone and my E92 M3. So I have actually been looking for a kind of like a temporary set of wheels while my other wheels take a while to get built. Those will be here in a few months. So I just wanted to get something onto the car so I could drive it. I actually had the 135 ARC 8s on this car and it looked absolutely absurd, but I also could not drive the car with those wheels and tires on it. They were just far too small and the offset was way off. So I was sort of shopping around online and I did want to go with the M359s, but I was sort of looking at the avant-garde M359s so I could get them in 18s, and then I could also get them in a size and offset that just fit this car a lot better without having to run a giant spacer on the OEM competition wheels. So while I was looking on Facebook Marketplace, I actually came across these EC7s. They looked really clean. They included tires. It was $1,800 for all four, which I think is a really good deal, especially with this condition. And the tires have plenty of life left in them. So I just wanted something that was convenient and simple, but also looked good so I could keep them and run them in the future. I did not think that they look this good. I didn't think that I'd like them this much. But once I put them on and actually saw the car on the ground with these wheels, I knew right away that these are gonna work out really, really well. So we'll see what ends up happening in the future. I'm not sure if I'm gonna keep these on forever. Like I said, I do have another set coming in a few months, but it will be nice to have an extra set of these in the garage that I can run on both cars, the 1M clone, as well as my E92 M3s. The specs on these EC7s are 18 by 10 in the front and 18 by 11 in the rear, which is really what I was looking for. As you guys saw, I had the 513Ms prior on this car and they just were not aggressive enough for this car. I really needed something that had more width in the back. It was almost like the 513M wheels on this chassis just sort of made it look like a 335 or something. And I was running massive spacers with the 513Ms to even try and attempt to make them work on this car. 12.5mm spacer in front and a 17.5mm in the rear. And it still was not flush with the 513M. So I really tried to not run spacers that large. I'm not a big fan of spacers in general. So overall, it was really nice to get into a proper fitting size wheel for this car, so I didn't have to mess with any massive spacers in the future. I think I will probably bring down the front just a tad to sort of even it out with the rear. The rear is a little bit lower right now than the front, and I like to try and keep that tire to fender gap as even as possible, even if it does mean there's a little bit of rake. I'm okay with that. But overall, you guys are gonna have to tell me what you think. Are you a fan of the EC7s on an E92 M3? I am. I think these look really good on this car. I think really these wheels look good on pretty much all E-chassis BMWs. The center caps that were actually on these wheels were yellow, so I took them off because I'm not really a fan of the yellow. And I was gonna put some BMW center caps on, but I kind of like them without the center caps. I don't know. You guys tell me what you think. Does it look stupid? I think it looks really good. So I'll probably just run them like this for now. I think the car is just super proper. And yeah, overall, I'm really happy with them. And while we are on the topic of Apex wheels, you guys, they are running another group buy in their 18-inch and 19-inch sprint line. So all of the forged wheels. If you guys remember my M4 GTS and even my 340, I ran the 18-inch and 19-inch VS5 RSs in fully forged. Those are awesome wheels and you can run those on pretty much any platform. So if you've been interested in buying a set of those in 18s or 19s, I'll have them linked down below. It's actually a group buy where you can save a little bit of cash. I think it's like $400 off a set. So if you've been on the fence, now is obviously the time to pull the trigger and save some cash. So here's the car up close to you guys. And like I said, it's an 18 by 11 in the rear and an 18 by 10 in the front. They look pretty nice. The tires are Falcon Azenis, which aren't really my first choice, but you know, for used tires and wheels and for a temporary setup, I'm okay with it. The front is a 265/35, so I would probably have gone for like a 275/35. And for this car, I would probably throw on PS4Ss. The rear tire right now is a 285/35, which on an 11-inch wide wheel is too small. So I actually would have gone with a 295 or even maybe a 305 in the rear. And I do think that this car with the concavity and the wheel arches can eat all of that, no problem. I just think with these darker cars, like a contrast like this and more of like a classic setup just looks so good, you know, on the E-Series. I also really just like the simplicity of the design when it comes to the EC7s. So if you follow me on Instagram, you've already seen these wheels on the car. If you follow me on TikTok, you've already seen these wheels on the car. But I did feel like I should probably just make a YouTube video because not everyone on here follows me on all the socials, and I just wanted to keep you guys in the loop. So tell me what you guys think. Are you down with the EC7s on the E92 M3? I think, like I said before, I think for a temporary setup, this is really clean. This is really, really good. I do think that the new wheels that are coming are gonna be much spicier. I think you guys are gonna like those too. But for now, we're gonna rock with these. Anyways, I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for watching the videos. I'll see you in the next one.